It's do or die time for the Sixers. But can they get over that game six blues? We'll talk about that more and next. I'm locked on NBA.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Game off. We got to talk about Monopoly Go. This fast-paced games lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool player pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friend. So download Monopoly Go, now free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Hello, I'm Keith Pompey, and this is my right-hand man, John Mitchell. We are the co-hosts of Locked On 76ers, right? We got a lot to talk about today. Like I said in the intro, this is a tough one, people. Game 6. A lot of excitement in Philly. But as my man Mitch reminded me that the Sixers have suffered a lot of the Game 6 blues recently. Oh my gosh. They could have last year in the second round series in Game 6, they could have put the Boston Celtics away. A lot of excitement. They failed. The year before that, it was the same situation that it is now. Trailing 3-2 to the Miami Heat. They come home and everyone laid an egg. So it was crazy, right, Mitch? It was crazy. So we're going to talk about that in the first segment. The second one, we're going to talk about the keys to the game, right? We're going to break that down, right? Ask questions about guys, what they can do. The third segment, we got to give our predictions. And I'm going to stand on mine. I wonder if John is going to stand on it. Because I just to say, the faithful, y'all might be a little disappointed at me at what I have to say.
Don't do it to him, Key.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Don't tell him what you feel is your truth.
I had to be truthful. But Mitch, let's talk about this Game 6, man. Like, the Sixers, whew, I mean, they break your heart. Now, I will say this. The one series that they did lose when they lost to Toronto Raptors, they played splendidly in Game 6. That was a phenomenal game.
Mm-hmm.
Then they came back and lost the Game 7, excuse me. But are you a little concerned based off of some of the things, or don't even say just, the thing, just highlight how tough it's been for the 76ers?
Yeah, Keith. Last year against Boston, leading that second round series 3-2, and after taking 2 of 3 games in Boston, the Sixers responded with a limp effort in the fourth quarter against the Celtics, getting outplayed primarily by Jason Tatum, scoring just 13 points in the fourth quarter. And, with that set up, in Game 6 here in Philly, after taking those 2 games in Boston on the road, the first one, if I'm not mistaken, was without Joel Embiid, and then for them to come home and just lay an ostrich egg, man, just a massive whopper of an egg. So, and the year before that, that 99-90 loss to Miami, just a cacophony of bad plays and just gutlessness. Harden, who's no longer here, but I am going to talk about him, 4 for 9, 11 points. But more importantly, the guys who are here, Joel Embiid was 7 for 24 from the field. He was 2 for 8 on threes. And then, as you and I often talk about, when he's taking that many threes, it means he's either tired or he's hurting and he's just not engaged. And he finished that game with 20 points. And then Maxey, little Mighty Maxey, the new Mighty Mouse of the 76ers, was just 9 for 22. He was finished with 20 points, had 4 turnovers and 4 assists, but he was a putrid 1 for 7 on threes. Quite the opposite of what he did in what will be remembered as a showcase performance if the 76ers win this series and advance, because you know how it is, man. He electrified the basketball universe. But like when Reggie Miller did one of these numbers on, they went ahead and they won that series. So if you don't win the series, as great as that performance was, people will remember it, but it won't resonate the way it resonated over the last 24, 48 hours. So game six has been lately, it's been a problem for these 76. I hope that's motivation to not come back and, after dramatic victory, because you figure after they beat, they won that second game in Boston, decisive, that they won their second game on the road in that series of Boston. They came back. It was a decisive victory, like a 10-point win. Now when it came back against Miami, you kind of got the feeling that series was going to end in Philly, but it's huge, man. You play a game six and you win and you advance, and then it should always be game on. I'm not to ear beat our listeners to death, but one thing that really, last year when they blew that game six at home, and Joel said, I'll never forget it, man. He said, who doesn't like game seven? And I'm like, when you're the underdog and you have won 2 games on the road at your opponents, you don't like game seven, particularly since it's not going to be in your building, So, that's where we are, man. Can't have a letdown. It was do or die on Tuesday, and it's not do or die Bed-Stuy, it's do or die South Philly. You got to go ahead and do it tonight.
Yeah, it's do or die South Philly. But also I felt like when he said that stuff, who doesn't love it? He was trying to gas himself up since he knew they blew it.
It's a bad effort, Chief.
Bad effort, but the fact that you pointed out, and it's true, like a lot of their losses have come in game six, game 7, right? And they all look bad, and it's all the same thing. Like I'm looking back at last year, I'm looking back at the year before that. Joel Embiid completely abandoned the paint and became a 3-point shooter. He was fatigued. He was tired. Right now, Maxey. The thing about Maxey, I'm not going to put a lot of the blame on him. And some people can, but I'm not going to, because at that point he had yet to ascend to his role.
Right.
He was I'm not a secondary player, so to speak, but at that point, Nick Nurse had to tell him, like, look, bro, you got to shoot the ball. Before trying to get everybody else involved. He was doing layups. He was doing this. He wasn't that. So we'll see if he can step up and if he can be that guy. But this is real, man. This is where they go to struggle. In the past. Now again, when they had Jimmy Butler and they had Tobias, first guy here, and JJ Redick and all those guys, that was a different type of team with a different mentality. So now we're here and we'll see what they can do, man. We'll actually see what they can do.
Man, I still say that was the best personnel when they had JB. Can you imagine if they still had that same personnel together? And
they would have won a championship the next year.
Yeah, they didn't win a championship, man.
That was the worst. We can talk about mistakes. Woo! That was the worst mistake that they did by not bringing that team back. And I get it. Jimmy could have been hard to deal with, but the problem is, it's like you choose the coach. You choose Ben Simmons over him. You fired it. Ben Simmons wants to out a couple of years later, and you fired the coach before that. So it's kind of crazy.
It's a franchise killing mistake, man. But listen, right now we're going to talk about our next segment is going to be keys to victory. But right now, I want to talk to you a little bit about this feeling that you get. You ever get you get excited for the NBA playoffs. It's that time of year. The weather has changed. The grass is green and the sun rises, and in the morning you've got dew on the grass. So I want to talk to you really right now about game time. So you can make last minute flash deals, zone deals on the games that you want to see. You It's easy to find and buy Major League Baseball tickets for Major League Baseball, any event you want to go to, and even the playoffs. You can prioritize last-minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last minutes for sports, concerts, comedy, theaters, and etc. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Again, download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Do it today, people. Definitely
Do it. Hey, do it now. Do it till you're satisfied. Whatever it is.
So look, he's saying whatever it is. So they better now. So here's my thing. So what's we talk about the key to the game.
Mm-hmm.
We were chatting a little bit before we did this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and of course we talked about we talked about Maxey, we talked about Game 6, but the question I have for you, does a couple questions. Does Joel Embiid have anything left, right?
Yeah.
Is there a letdown in the offering, right? We talk about with Maxey's miracle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and is there a star run? Let's talk about the letdown in the third segment, because that got a lot to do with our predictions, right?
Gotcha.
But do you think Maxey can make another star run? And like Kelly Oubre, Tobias Harris, I was talking to people yesterday saying, yo, this whole Tobias thing is real. They're gonna get him the ball, he gonna produce, and I'm like, hold now, because and I'm not knocking him, but it's sometimes they may go to him. Then there's certain times when they freeze him out again.
Yeah.
Or they'll go to him early and then they stop. Or he'll miss shots. So it's a lot of uncertainty, bruh. It's because Joel looked bad.
Yeah, he did.
Remember, he looked bad, especially in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And you can't, and the crazy part is when you look at it, Mitch, they win Game 3, Joel had to have 50 points.
Yeah.
They win Game 5, Maxey had to have 46 points by scoring the final 7 in regulation to force overtime. And one of them was a crazy play. One was a real long 3. Boom. The other one was a 3 where he got fouled by a center for a 4-point play.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What's the odds of all that happening again? So my question is, bruh, what's the keys to the victory tonight?
Keith, I think it's let's look at the mainstays. Tyrese is averaging 32.4 points per game. Joel, as critical as people, it's amazing, man. It shows you how good and super talented he is. Joel's averaging 31.8 points per game, and he's averaging 10.4 blocks. Dude is averaging 6.4 assists during this series. The turnovers, you got to cut them turnovers down. Now, if you told me prior to the series that you were going to get 32 out of Tyrese and 31 out of Joel, I'd say, man, okay, welcome to round 2. But the Knicks are feisty, and so as a result, you actually absolutely have the guy, and I call them the ancillary guys, man. Kelly Oubre came around that last game, and he has played good defense. They've run, running him, running Batum, running multiple bodies at and I call Brunson Prop Joe because he looks like Prop Joe from The Wire. But those guys have to the Kelly Oubres, the Tobias Harrises, Cameron Payne has got to come in when he's called upon and make plays. It's all the guys who come down. Like it's just almost look at an election. You have the top of the ticket, and then you've got the people beneath them. We kind of know we're getting from the top of the ticket because 31-10 on one leg and Bell's palsy is goddamn good. 32 points per game from Tyrese Maxey, you'll take that. That's like an ascendant superstar performance. But it's got to be you got to get like Paul Reed's got to come on there and handle Isaiah Hartenstein. That's the first white guy I've ever met named Isaiah. Just to add,
his dad. He ain't. The deal with him.
What's that?
So everybody keeps saying that he's white, and he keep telling people, "I'm not white."
Isaiah Hartenstein?
Huh?
Really?
Yeah, his father is like a light skin. Well, his dad is, biracial.
Okay.
From not Philly, but he's from America, and so like it's funny, like when you see it, yeah, like his dad, like he like light skin like you, right?
Yeah, he's Redbone. So I'm saying, yeah, he's the first white guy I never met named Isaiah.
Yeah, so it's like I guess he's mixed with black. He's just fair. But what he does is he lets everyone know that whenever they
Man, that's interesting.
Oh, you're a white dude by the name Isaiah. He's like, well, actually.
Look at you breaking news, man. I would have never guessed that. You
can
look at the biracial. You can look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes and see his biraciality. But so so the ancillary players have to step up. You got to get something out of those guys because Josh Hart kind of has come down to earth offensively, but he's still averaging I think he's a leading rebounder in the series. He's averaging 12.4 boards per game or something like that. So you come back here and you got to play with gusto, man. You cannot step back into this building and play kitty cat basketball. So if the secondary guys can play, and I refer to Joel Embiid as Ultraman. For those people who don't remember Ultraman, that Japanese show that came on back in the day on Channel 17, Philly people, I know y'all remember that. Some of y'all I know you're as old as I am. When Ultraman,
I don't remember it.
Keith, and you got like great.
I'm joking.
Ultraman. For those who remember Ultraman on Channel 17, he was a giant robot, came from the skies, and when he was fighting the prehistoric monster,
yeah,
his chest started beating, his lights started going off, man, and that meant he was getting weaker, and he had to finish that monster off, or else he was toast. And that's my analogy for the Sixers, man. These secondary players have to come up, and they have to ball.
And Ultraman has to come ready and he has to play. Right? Ultraman. That's what you call him, Joel. Hey,
go read the comments when this is over. Yeah, everybody's gonna be live. People say, "I remember that cat."
Yeah.
I'm really dating myself.
Yeah. So you call him Joel Ultraman. We'll see. Ultraman, I know, because remember the little, oh my gosh, it's Ultraman. It was like, it was some bad acting dude. Oh my gosh, it's Ultraman.
Ultraman was undefeated.
Go ahead, Ultraman. Huh?
But also, on difference was Ultraman was undefeated. The good guy always.
Yeah, he was Ultraman. Yeah, but in real life, Ultraman would have been taking L's left and right.
Left and right.
Ultraman would have been a dead man in real life.
Real.
Yeah. So here we go.
Yeah. So right now, before we segue into our next segment, where we'll talk about who wins the game, we got to talk about this sensation that's sweeping the nation, Monopoly Go. So it's all right. Game off. Let's pause right here and talk more about Monopoly Go. Now I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that. But there's just so much good stuff in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for timed tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. and there's so much to get to. You got unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. You've got cool new playing places to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot Pacino machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now on Google Play or the App Store. Game on.
You want them to do it today, right? Definitely
Do it today. Got to do Monopoly Go right now.
All right, so after you get done with doing the Monopoly Go and all that other stuff, right? You know what? We want you to come back and we got to talk about these previews. So, Mitch, let me talk to you. I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah.
So, when I went to New York to cover Game 5, I didn't think that the 76ers were going to win. I didn't think that. And I kept telling myself, I kept asking the other reporters. And I mean, heck, I even, my man, Dan, he's a volleyball coach at Paul VI. I like him, really good, nice dude. So I'm like, yo, D, you think the Sixers going to win? And he like, why are you asking me? He's like, I should be asking you. I was like, yo, this is one of them games that they supposed to lose. I'm saying it to everybody else. I said that to you. Talk to everybody. But in the back of my mind, I said, whenever you think the 76ers are going to lose, they surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me, said, what's going to happen? I said, they're going to win. Mm-hmm. They're going to win tonight. They're going to win. And I said, and it doesn't make any sense for them to win. Well, let's fast forward to tonight. It doesn't make any sense for the 76ers to lose, right? Mm-hmm. They have the momentum, you know what I mean? The crowd, the ownership group, which is a bad testament to what's going on as far as they got to buy and give out 2,000 tickets to fans, right? Just so to keep the New York people out of there. However, if you look at it, it's still 25% of the people coming down there are going to be New Yorkers, right? So at least 25% from New York. So all this stuff is happening, right? You're going to have Dawn Staley back in the building. Everything's going to be lit. It's going to be ripped. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. Tyrese Maxey is coming off of a hell of a moment. You know, they're comparing him to Reggie Miller, right? Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid was like almost had a triple double. You know, Tobias Harris had his best performance of the series.
You pumping me up, Keith. I'm excited.
They're gonna take an L tonight. They're gonna take an L tonight. I mean, and I hate to say it because I'm trying to tell you about this 76ers franchise. Whenever you the fans give up on them, that's when they come back and they say, yo, you forgot about us. They give you hope. Now all the fans are back. But whenever you say the Sixers are going to do something for whatever reason, they take away, they snatch the hope away. They let you down. Like whenever you think they're going to do it, they let you down. So here's the deal. In my mind, I'm saying the Sixers are going to win, but I'm predicting them to lose, and I'm saying they're going to lose because this is the same situation all the time. Yeah. When you go into a Clee game and you yo, they're going to win. If you think about this, the Sixers, their history has always been, since I covered this team, is they always beat the elite teams in the regular season and get smacked by the scrubs. And they always do that. So now we're talking about the playoffs. I believe that they're going to take an L.
Yeah, you know, Keith, man, you know, it sounds like they should be playing the classic hit by Stevie Wonder, Rocket Love. The 76ers took me riding in a rocket and gave me a star. But at a half a mile from heaven, you dropped me right back down to this cold, cold earth. Man, you know what? Stevie's my favorite artist. I disagree with you, Keith. I am, and I'm going. See, you're still in beat writer mode. I'm not in beat writer mode, man. So as a result of me not being in beat writer mode and saying that, you know, well, we know what they did in Game 6 2 years ago against Boston when they went kitty cat. We know what they did last year against Boston. We went against Miami the first year, 2 years ago, and against Boston last year when they went super duper kitty cat and gave us 13 points on our home floor on the fourth quarter. I think that changes, man. I know I'm a little caught up in Tyrese Maxey thing. It's hard not to be because I just did see, and as a beat writer, man, I envy you being me. I don't envy you being on deadline in that situation when you just got to tear it down and do the whole thing over again. But I do envy you get a chance to see a great game like that in Madison Square Garden for the media. And apparently they don't have those Lilliputian tables behind the backboard because they've turned those into probably $100,000 season tickets to continue ripping people off. But I think the Sixers win tonight. I think they win tonight. I know that I think it's just 13 teams have come back from a 3-1 deficit, and I did pick New York to win this game, and I just don't know if the Sixers will have prospectively, potentially enough gas left in the tank to win a Game 7. But we're talking about Game 6, so I'm not putting the cart in front of the horse. And I think they win this game. I think with all those folks from New York coming down here, and it was funny. They were talking about we want Boston after they won here. They don't even realize that they got to get this tells you how long they have been away from meaningful playoff games. We want Boston. After last night, I don't think we want Boston. But yeah, I think the Sixers can get this one, Keith. I think they'll get this one. I think they will break that horrible juju, that awful, awful stank karma, and win this game. I think they'll win Game 6 and set up a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Game 7. And in this case, Joel, yes, you can say who doesn't want Game 7, because the fans and the 76ers organization, I just hope that the fans don't want it more than the Sixers do tonight.
Yeah, it might be a lot of fights in the crowd tonight, bro. Yeah, it might be a lot. It might be. I mean, it might be. That might. But at the same time, if think was a drink, we all be drunk.
Yeah,
you think that they might win, but you ain't confident. You saying you don't sound. You don't even sound confident.
I'm not confident, but I do think. I mean, come on, man. You know, you talking about momentum in the greatest sports city in the world.
Dude, but we've seen.
Yeah, but we've seen some. It feels almost like some of those NFC. You know, I mean, because you can see when things go bad in Philly, man. Go back to that NFC Championship game when Tampa came in here and beat the Eagles, man, and it was just you could hear a pin drop. And when Carolina came here and beat them, you could hear a pin drop. With Dawn Staley, come on, man. With Dawn Staley,
she's been there before. She's seen these L's. She witnessed a lot of L's here.
Man, she
saw more Sixers L's than she saw with her team the last 3 years. She's been in the building for more Sixers. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, with Doc, come on, man. I saw a picture with Dr. J. The Sixers basketball personified, the great Allen Iverson, whom they could never build a team properly around, and Dawn Staley sitting 1, 2, 3. You know, as you go to the Garden and you show me Larry Johnson, I think of Larry Johnson. I think of Alonzo Mourning rocking him. You know, I will give. I mean, you know, but their celebrity role is nice, but you know. And
all right, listen, I'm just gonna say this. I don't want us to get like fined by playing people music.
Yeah,
but I'm just gonna say these lyrics. Same old ish, dog. Just a different day. You know how we do, how we play. a man's got to do what a man's got to do, right? So, but then it goes like so. Like, I don't want to keep saying. Like, thing about it is, I'm looking at it, and this is the uncut version. So I'm not going to say it, but it's DMX. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Same old ish. Here we go again. Like, I'm just telling you, bro. Like, it's the same old ish, just a different day. Now, again, I hope that I'm wrong, but believe me, bro, this team will let you down
every time.
Every time. Yeah. Same old ish, just a different day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maxey saved them. Tobias it. There was no pressure on them. Yeah. The pressure is on them now.
Yeah. But the pressure's also on New York to finish it now.
New York, because they're going back to the crib. Like, if they're going back, they're going back to the crib. If New York lose tonight, like, yo, we're going back to the crib. Yeah. Like, yo, the pressure is on the Sixers. I mean, and you can tell the pressure on the Sixers. The fact that the ownership, the fact that Dawn Staley had to go out there and tweet what she tweeted, the fact that the ownership did what they did lets you know is that.
Yeah, people are paying attention. People are paying attention.
Yeah. Because the problem is, there's a lot of the fans who feel the same way I do. Yeah. This team will let you down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's it. Yeah. You know, unfortunately, but so we'll see. You know what? For you and for my daughter who loves it, right? Loves the Sixers, bruh. I hope they win for y'all. But for me, I don't think it's gonna happen. So that's just how it is. But hey, y'all, I just want to let y'all know that Locked On has launched the first app. I'm trying to get it out.
You got bad juju.
The first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channel app. So, me and John going to have to agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that they're going to win. I kind of know that they're going to lose every time. So that's just how it is. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully for John, we'll talk about a win, and hopefully for y'all too. But to me, I think we may be talking about a loss. So nice talking to y'all today, and we'll definitely be back to recap whatever happens tomorrow. Peace people.
Go Sixers. Get it.